All right, Nintendo, you got me. I guess you're either playing 5D chess here or you are doing the slowest console rollout I have ever seen. I mean, granted, I guess I could be forgetting I am in my 30s and everyone calls me a boomer at this point. But with the announcement of the Switch 2 here, which is like the worst kept secret ever, because for one, we already knew that a new console was coming. Two, we know it's just a more powerful Switch. What the fuck? Which is like 90% of what all of us wanted, essentially. It's really, this is very interesting for 2025, I'll say here, because up until this point, we've been hearing rumors upon rumors about when this thing is going to release, what the specs are, which supposedly the whole entire spec sheet's out on the internet right now. So if you want to take a look at it, it supposedly is supposed to be the PS4 Pro power, I guess, or maybe in between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, whatever the case is. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen there. Then we kept seeing things that, you know, a lot of outlets saying like, oh, they're going to finally show off the Switch 2 officially in like a trailer, only focusing on the Switch itself. But we didn't see anything from Nintendo's official accounts or anything like that. And then CES came along with all their tech and everything, showing off GPUs and people showing off third-party supported things for the Switch 2 because, you know, whatever the case is going to be, it has been absolutely ridiculous. So if you haven't seen the Switch 2 trailer, go watch it. It's obviously in the background right here for some B-roll. We're not going to dive in and be like, okay, well, I see that the corner of the controller is looking like this. So that means right there that this can't support this game or, you know, whatever the crazy stuff is. So I'm joined here by the one and only Lethal. He joins us for some of the videos. He's one of the OGs of the team, but we just kind of want to talk about our initial thoughts on seeing it. I mean, obviously we've most likely seen this, you know, we saw some of the spoilers, especially when you work in this particular industry like we do, and you're going to get spoiled regardless. So plus again, Switch 2, we knew exactly what this thing is going to look like. It's not a big kept secret or anything. But Lethal, I want to get your initial thoughts on this, because when I looked at this, obviously I was just like, okay, cool. Switch 2 is looking good. You know, it's going to show everything off that we expect. But then they had this weird experience tour date combined with their Switch 2 Direct, which is not going to be for another 3 months. It's currently January right now, and it's not supposed to release until April to show this thing off. That's not the release date for the console. Then we've got this Switch 2 Experience Tour, which is going everywhere from North America to Europe to parts of Asia. And some of those are not happening until June. Seoul, South Korea, is not happening until May 31st to June 1st, which tells me right there that this thing is not going to release at the earliest until like probably August, if I had to take a wild guess. Most likely, probably the fall, try to get, you know, those early holiday type of sale things. What are your overall thoughts on this? Like, how Nintendo's handled this? How excited are you for the Switch? Which I'm assuming you're excited because, I mean, you and I have been doing gaming for basically our entire lives. But just what are your thoughts on their, I guess, reveal and how they're rolling this out and what's going on? Like, give me the lowdown. What are your just overall thoughts and opinions?
All right, so I was definitely one of the people yesterday that were excited, expecting to get some sort of like tease of an announcement for today. And was definitely upset, you know, when we didn't see anything. And then it was to my surprise, Tallen, when I woke up and just saw that Nintendo just decided to tweet at like 8:30 in the morning my time, like, hey, we got an announcement to show you guys, and boom, there it is. And you know, for my first initial impressions, I mean, listen, let's be real. I don't know about you, Talent, but like I did not want the Switch form factor, the design, the appearance of it to go honestly in a much drastic appearance. I did not want that. I very much just wanted the same thing of what we have, you know, currently for Switch, but obviously better. So I'm in the ballgame of like, you know, what I saw, I liked it. You know, it's not like the most like drastic changes, but like, you know, they had the little cool little changes to like the joysticks or the Joy-Cons, and how like the joysticks have like the little like color, you know, going into it. It kind of just helps bring out a little bit more of the just like that just straight up just flat one color look to it. So I like that, you know, I like that. Changes to like the kickstand, which maybe we'll talk more about. The fact that the Joy-Cons are like, they're like magnetically sticking to it rather than just being like slid in place. All those changes I enjoy. The only thing in terms of like initial appearance that I saw is they obviously don't say it. I don't think they've said it, Talon, unless you saw it, but like I'm going to assume it's probably going to be a standard HD screen. And we don't know if it's going to be OLED.
From what I've heard, it's not supposed to be OLED, which I know is a quote unquote downgrade from the current OLED for Switch out right now.
Yeah.
But let's be perfectly honest here. The reason they're doing this, it saves on money. literally the reason they're doing that, right?
And it just gives them a reason in the next 2-3 years to drop like their OLED edition or something.
Exactly,
So
you'll see an OLED
edition
and all that stuff. But you know, I think the thing that a lot of people might forget is that if you are somebody who does not take your Switch on the go, or maybe a majority of the time it's in the dock, you're never gonna notice the OLED screen. So unless you are somebody who travels a lot and you are constantly bringing this thing with you, then yes, you'll notice it. But if it is docked, like my current, you know, like my Switch is right now, I've had my Switch since 2017, and it has, you know, the only time I ever take it out and go portable is when I fly home to the States, which is once every 2 years. And other than that, it sits in my dock, so I don't even notice the screen. So, but no, I definitely agree with you though. From the, I mean, I think you and I have been saying this for almost 3 years at this point. Sound like broken records, that the way that it looks, the way it handles and everything, why improve upon something that clearly has worked for you? We just want more powerful hardware. That's all I've ever wanted from the Switch, right? It is great as some games have clearly looked on this thing, looking at things like Metroid Dread, the Legend of Zelda games, all that stuff. I mean, like Mario Kart is still their best-selling game, and that's technically a Wii U game that was imported to the Switch. But it's no secret that it needs a bump in performance in terms of the hardware that's inside, and that's exactly what we're going to be getting here. So I'm all for it. We'll see whatever their custom NVIDIA chip is, because the current Switch has a custom NVIDIA Tiger chip in it. And so hopefully whatever custom chip they have in this new one will be vastly stronger and everything. You know, obviously we know Nintendo's not trying to be the same power level as a PS5, PS5 Pro, Xbox Series. You know, we get that. We obviously know that. But it would be nice to have some more power. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what those specs are. I'm definitely someone who's going to check that out. But, you know, overall, the general public probably won't give a crap, because let's be perfectly honest. We're buying Nintendo consoles for those exclusives that you can get. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, the list goes on and on. So, and I'm assuming that little thing in April is going to show us more of the game side of things. I mean, we know that obviously the Switch 2 can play Switch games, which is great. Absolutely great that we can do that. So that means all the cartridges that, you know, you and I have probably bought over the years, I can just slot those in and continue to play, which is going to be awesome. But I am... One thing, I will say this, and call it a nitpick, whatever it is, most people don't use it, yada, yada. I totally get it. The one thing I will say, just based on the trailer, again, don't have it in our hands or anything like that, how do you go from the pathetic kickstand of the Switch, go to the vastly improved kickstand of the OLED Switch, and then go to, at least what looks like, just based on the trailer, this kickstand for the Switch 2? Like, how do you go backwards? That just doesn't make sense. And again, I get it. 90% of people, you barely put the thing out. You're either in the dock or you're holding it, right? But I'm just saying, like, there are times where it is nice to prop it up and put it on the table or whatever. Why does it look flimsy as hell? That's all I'm gonna say. So
I want to hope that like it's more sturdier. Obviously, like it's hard to tell from the trailer. I don't want to assume that's just another piece of plastic, like simple small plastic that's gonna just snap off. But I would like to I would like to hope that the design of this thing is got to be at least they have to have seen from the first one and been like, what, we've made advancements and this new style, because they get the very like slim. It's like barely a frame to it. I'm looking at it right now. And I'm hoping, that's not going to be the case. Like, I would hope your successor Switch is not going to have that same problem. But no, you're right though. Like at first glance, it is like, ooh, it looks very thin. Maybe a little fragile, but maybe it's a little bit more. I don't know. Like, who knows what the material is? Maybe it's a little bit more like the metal or something. I have no idea. But just hoping that it's not going to just be another piece of cheap plastic.
Exactly. So, but I will say though, stepping away from a flimsy little kickstand, because I want you to spend 10 minutes talking about that. I'm hoping, I'm already seeing the memes across the internet and everything, but we do see our very first basically confirmed game for the Switch 2, which is what looks like a brand new Mario Kart. Now, the meme going around is that no, this is just Mario Kart 8 Complete Deluxe Edition, essentially, which, you know what? I'm all here for the meme, because the fact that Mario Kart 8 has been out on the Wii U and onto the Switch since like 2013, 14 or something like that, and it's 2025. Like, it's been a while, right?
So crazy.
But the thing that shows me that it is most likely 99.9% a new Mario Kart is just the way that the initial kart from Mario that you see in the trailer / the pictures right now is new. Like, it's got the springs on the front and everything. The logo on the side of the kart's different. So that tells me right there that it most likely is a new one. But I'm all here for the memes though. So any kind of memes you guys have, post them in the comments. I would love to see it. Or shout us out over on social media and be like, yo, check this out over at Direct Gaming. So but still super funny to see. Yeah. So obviously we know that we're gonna be getting a new Mario Kart game. We do know, I'm going to assume most likely that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a cross-gen game, most likely on Switch and Switch 2, because they literally had a trailer for it the last main direct that we had. So I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. I could be wrong. I mean, as someone who would prefer that it only be on the stronger platform, I know that Nintendo's going to want to just dip into all those sales, so you put it on both, obviously. And then the rumor right now, or the stuff going around, is that we're supposed to see another 3D Mario game. I don't know if it's going to be Odyssey 2. I don't know if it's going to be, its own unique thing. I doubt it's going to be Galaxy or anything, even though I personally love Galaxy. Still my favorite 3D Mario game to this date. But we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen there. And then obviously the fact that we can play all our old Switch games on there is, even if you buy the Switch and you're not able to get a ton of games at the start, you're going to have all your old games. And a lot of those games are still great. Playing Mario Wonder and Super Smash Brothers and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, heck, we have Bobby here on the team who probably just wants... Just give him his 4K 60 FPS Tears of the Kingdom, and he's good to go, basically. So we'll have to wait and see exactly. That's where the whole specs are going to come in for the next trailer. But to kind of finish this off, though, I want to get your personal opinion on this. As I said at the beginning of the video here, it's an interesting experiment, I would say. I know it's somewhat similar to what they did with the original Switch, but just because it worked for that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for this. The whole trailer now in January, just simply showing what the console looks like, which, oh shocker, it looks like a Switch. 3 months waiting to show a direct, which most likely is going to show games, going into an experience tour, which the majority of people are not going to be able to get because tickets are going to be scalped regardless of how they try to do this thing. And
well, it's
that's
also like that lotto system,
right?
Keep in mind too.
Exactly. It's gonna be some lotto system thing. We don't know. Most likely in April is when they're gonna also say, "Hey, pre-orders are available at X date" and everything like that. And this thing's most likely not launching until February, or not February, but like the fall of 2025, most likely going into the holidays, which business-wise makes sense and everything. But why? But technically, we've known about the successor to this console, aka the Switch 2, since like fall of last year, because they tweeted out the thing saying like, hey, before March, aka the end of the fiscal year of 2024, we are going to announce the new console, which they have done now. But now we're waiting until the next fiscal year, technically, because you have to remember that starts in April and goes until the following year's April. Now that's not happening until April. Then they do this whole experience tour thing. They are not going to release this thing, but during that experience tour. What's the point of the experience tour if you release the console already? So, what do you think this is going to work out for them, or what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I think the strategy is obviously, like the idea of like, revealing the Switch, then announcing we're going to get a direct, which everybody's now excited for. Everybody has that like literally marked in their calendars for April 2nd. I think all of that makes sense. All that's good. And then the experience store part of it, I do think it's a good idea, but it is what you said, pretty much of, when is this thing going to come out? And then, is it going to be like, into the end of the tour? Which would make sense. You think you'd want to hit all these like, locations and all these places that it's planning on doing. The only thing is, I remember seeing, and I talked about it to you a little bit before, was that like, there's a chance that this was going to come out sometime in like April, May. But it'd be interesting if this didn't come out. And so maybe if there was the last tour that you said was in June, I think.
June. So as of right now, Seoul, South Korea is May 31st to June 1st. And we still don't have still to be announced for Hong Kong and Taipei, which means that those are most likely in June. So
that's just so far away. The reason I say this is because the first Switch came out, I think it was like March, April time, I think, from what I remember seeing online or whatever. And so it's like you would think they kind of would mimic the same thing of maybe like it's going to come out sometime in April, March, maybe even May. But like to announce it now, reveal it now, and then for it to maybe not come out until potentially like fall time, that's kind of a major long gap. That's why I'm not too sure if like the experience is like totally indicative of when the actual device will come out, because I feel like in the past there's been tour dates for stuff that goes like way longer, and if it's for like the game, for example, like I'm thinking like Sparking Zero, top of my mind, that they had like a whole experience tour for that game, essentially almost the same thing. And it went out past the game's launch, like after October.
Right.
And so I'm curious. I'm curious. Like I think that there's a chance, I would just say, that this thing does come out, I think, before the end of the tour. And that tour thing also, it's like, it's not like we said before. Again, from what I remember looking at it, it's a lotto system, right? So like I don't know if you can even still buy tickets for it necessarily. It is just a lotto system, so it's not even like the best way to sort of experience that. Like some people are obviously just not going to be able to experience that, and I think the experience is obviously more than just playing the Switch. You're probably going to be able to get like a bunch of little cool like goodies and stuff like that, and it's going to be a whole thing. So I do think personally this thing might come out maybe before fall time, or before this tour date is potentially going to end. Because if this thing goes out like throughout the year, there's no way this isn't take. I don't think. I don't know. It would just be a weird plan to reveal it now and it not come out till fall. That's an interesting move. At that point, they could just wait until like Summer Game Fest, summertime, right, to do all this and start this, pick this up. But I mean, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it. I think there's a chance that this does come out, in like April, May, say that, and not come out in the fall time. But that's just me wishful thinking and hoping that this tour day thing is not indicative of when it's actually going to come out. But all in all, I mean, no matter what, it is a good stretch of like time to just really ramp up that excitement. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like a dead next like 2 months, 2-3 months until April 2nd. I do think you're going to see them maybe tease some things here and there. I would like to think that's going to be the case. I mean, they could just go completely silent. Who knows? But I mean, I would like to think that maybe I don't know, just throw out some type of stuff. I don't know, but that's like just like random stuff that Nintendo would do, like wallpapers, a calendar or something. I don't know. They might do some weird stuff like that. But
they could easily do things like that. Real quickly though, to look back on the original Switch, it was unveiled on October 20th, 2016, and then it released in March 2017. So that's about 5 months, give or take, right? And obviously it worked for the Switch, and I guess we'll have to wait and see if it's going to work for the Switch too, because keep in mind, I think with the Switch, that was like the big new thing, hearing that you have a console that could go handheld whenever, right? So people didn't really, it was kind of like, no way this works, right? But now they're doing these tour things with the Switch 2, and it's like, okay, we know it's more powerful. Like, are you going to really be showing off the power of the Switch 2? Like, we know it's not going to be current gen status, but we know it's going to be more powerful. So what hidden stuff do they have to show things off, right? Or is Nintendo going to be like, look, you can actually play in 4K with upscaling? It's just like, yeah, upscaling 4K has been a thing since like 2018, Nintendo. Like I know you just focus on the family friendly stuff, but like, come on, like, you don't need to go that, oblivious or anything like that. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But regardless though, like you said, we're obviously excited for the console and everything. It would just be interesting to see how this whole thing works out. Let's just put a bet down right now. Give me the month that you think the Switch 2 is going to release, and then that way we'll also post it in the community tabs and everything, and then we'll have to obviously make an update video when the thing is officially announced. I'm going to personally say August 2025. That's going to be my guess right there. How about you?
I really just want to stick to like summertime, like early summer, and I kind of want to go with. I'll go safe. I'll go with the June. Let's go with June.
Okay, so we got June and August. So everyone, let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think is going to happen with the Switch 2's release date? And give us your thoughts down below. So obviously, we could keep talking about this forever and ever, probably speculate, get Bobby in here and start talking about things, which we might do this weekend if we're around and everything. So make sure you sub to the channel if you want to keep up to date on everything that comes with the Nintendo news, Nintendo Switch, all that kind of stuff. But with that being said, though, I'm going to be Tallen here at Direct Gaming, joined here again by Lethal. Thank you so much for joining me as always, man. We're going to leave it there, though. And again, let us know all your thoughts below in the comments. And these next few months are definitely going to be interesting. We'll have to wait and see. And I'm just going to say right now, because everyone always gets mad about spoilers and everything, just stay off the internet if you don't want to get spoiled. I'm just going to say that right there. This is the internet. It's been around for decades at this point. Like, you should know that you're going to get spoiled. So, or just like mute every single word in terms of consoles and Nintendo and everything else. So I'm just going to put that right there. So anyway, though, Lethal, thanks again for joining me today, guys. And we'll see you guys all in the next one. Johnny.